And today is November the 14th, 2006. So I want you to, again, say your name, today's date, and your age first.
Okay. Today is November 14th, '06.
Look at the camera. One more time.
And what?
Take two. Look at the camera like you're talking to me, and give today's date and your age again.
Okay. November the 14th, '06. And my birthday is I'll say October 5th, 27.
Okay. And what's your age today?
79.
You're 79 years old. Okay. And she brought some pictures today. And what's the first one you have there?
The first one's going to be of my grandfather, which it was my dad's father, and he lived to be 95.
When was that picture taken?
I don't know.
Or when do you
Can
think it
you
was
read
taken?
that? That was like in the 40s, because it was about in the 40s.
So it was in the 40s sometime. Do you think it was before or after World War II?
Right during World War II.
Okay. And he's wearing a suit there. Was that his favorite suit?
Well, this was when he was 90 years old. They took a picture of him, so he dressed up.
Okay. How did he normally dress around the house?
Just regular slacks and a shirt, that's all.
What is your fondest memory of your father?
My grandfather?
Your grandfather.
Oh, he was very close to me. And there's one time that when my dad came to California and I stayed behind, and because school wasn't out yet over there, and I stayed with him and my aunt. And one thing that I wanted to go see Gone with the Wind with my girlfriend, and I was about 15 then, or 14 more likely. And there was a theater 3 blocks away, and I wanted to go see it, the movie, and he never let me. He said, "No, I have to keep an eye on you because your dad told me to keep an eye on you, to take care of you while you're here. You're not going to go." So I start crying. I remember I went to the other room and cried, and I heard him say in Spanish, "Pobrecita mija," that she's crying. Poor my daughter, that I made her cry. I remember him telling my aunt that. He was real dear to us. Like in those days, not everybody had cars, so we all used to meet over Grandpa's house, and all his sons or daughters with their kids, and that was good.
Very good. And what's the next picture you got?
The next one would be of my father. No, it would be of his children, my grandfather's children. In those days, we were very close-knit families. Do I tell you the names now?
Sure.
Okay, it's going to be I'll start from the right to the left because my dad's the oldest and they're in order. My dad, Emilio Nieto. Second is Amado Nieto, Julia Nieto, Luz Nieto, Eddie Nieto, and Marcus Nieto. So.
Can I see it real quick? And cut. Now, do any of those people in the picture look like any of your family members? Or do you see any family resemblance?
Of my kids? Not really. I think my children came out Martinez.
More Martinez, huh?
I think so. Because my dad had kind of a long nose, but the rest had kind of a pudgy nose like me.
And where did the rest of your relatives live?
They all lived in Colorado. Some, at the beginning when I was growing up, Uncle Amado, he's the second one to the right. He lived in Brighton, and he had a little ranch there. And then later on, he moved to Denver. And then my Aunt Julia always lived in Denver. She's the one that used to take care of grandfather. And Aunt Luce used to live in Littleton after she got married, Littleton, Colorado. Uncle Ed lived in Denver, and Uncle Marcus lived in Denver. So we were all. Then later on in years, Uncle Amado, the one that lived in Brighton, moved to Denver.
Which one was your favorite aunt or uncle?
Well, of course, I think I loved them all. But I think Aunt Julia, which she's the one that took care of me a lot. Mm-hmm. We lived with her. And then Uncle Marcus, because he always lived the closest. Mm-hmm. We lived about 2 blocks away, so we always back and forth.
Good. All right, let's see the next one.
The next one would be my father, I think, yeah. I have a picture here of my father. I still have to look for when he was younger. But this picture was in front of our house on Denker. That was our first house. And our children are there with him. And he must have been in his maybe 82 or 3 or something like that.
What was happening that day when the picture was taken?
That was Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday.
Those shutters that are on that window, Ray made them.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Did he do a good job?
I think so. He put one in the front window and one in the kitchen window. They're both the front windows.
How long did it take him to make them?
I don't remember, but he made that. And on the side of the house there's it was like a little roof with a little gate, and he made that, but it doesn't quite show there.
And what were the ages of the children in that picture?
Albert looks like he's, well, I don't know.
Best guess.
Gloria looks like she's about 12 maybe. Patsy looks like she's about 10. And Albert about 8. Oh no, Albert's a little one there. Albert looks like he's maybe 2 or 3 years old.
And cut, edit in. Let's do the one of your mother next. And cut, and edit in. Hey, wait a second. Okay, tell me about it.
My mother, okay. The clothing that she has, it must have been the roaring 20s. I don't know where, in fact, I never had a picture of my mother, but one day I went to Vaughn, New Mexico, and her sister lives there, and she gave me this picture from her album. So she was fairly young here. She must have been in her, I'd say she was in her 20s, because I was born when she was 22.
What do you know about your mother? What did she do? Where did she grow up?
New Mexico somewhere. Like I say, I don't know anything about my mother, okay. Really.
Do any of your relatives know anything about her?
Her relatives? I didn't get to meet her until I was married and I had Gloria, I think, I believe. And we were on our way to Colorado to see my dad's side of the family when my dad said, when Ray says, oh, we're going to stop in Vaughn to meet your aunt for the first time. And that was my mother's sister. They hadn't seen each other since they were little kids. Their mother had passed away too when they were very little, and there was 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. And the father remarried and gave them away, separate families. So they didn't know each other, just by letter.
That's interesting.
And in those days, people did not travel because they didn't have cars. Hardly anybody had cars.
So where did the other sister go to?
No, it was her. Oh, yeah. And the other sister was Anne Francis.
Oh, okay.
And my mother was Virginia. That's the two sisters. My mother had a good life. Some couple that never had children adopted her. And that's why she was dressed fairly good in time. And she had a good life. But my poor Aunt Frances, she told me all the story about her. She had a very rough time with her stepmother, and they gave her away again and things like that. She had a very rough life.
And cut, edit.
And the other one there is my sister Mary.
Say that one more time.
The other lady in the pink is my sister Mary. She's older than I am, and I'm in the center. And that was for Albert's wedding that Aunt Frances came.
What else you got?
So then that was my dad and Aunt
Let's do
Frances.
the wedding picture next.
Well, this I think would go next.
Okay, let's see that one.
Okay, and this is my brothers and sisters. One of them had passed away. Okay, the oldest one from left to right was Charles, Joe, Mary, myself, and Clara. And we had a brother which was after Joe, where his name was Herman, which he passed away very young at 52. And this picture was taken way after.
And what do you remember about them?
Oh, everything. We were very close. We always lived just a block away or with them, so everything was dear to them. They were just my half-brothers, but I loved them and they loved me just like if we were full. We didn't even use that word half. Yes. And they helped my dad raise us.
Which one house do you live at after your mother died?
Well, usually the oldest, Charlie,
The first
and
one.
his wife, yeah. The first one on the left.
Let me see that one. Cut and edit in.
And it would be our wedding picture. Our wedding picture next, huh?
What's that?
Our wedding picture?
Oh, yeah. Wedding picture next.
I think that's next. Let's see.
Cut, edit in, wedding picture. Okay. Why don't you tell me about this one?
We got married October 4th in 57. Well, like I told you, I think in the last report, we just had a small wedding.
Yeah, I think we heard the wedding story.
At the house, we had the reception only. We had to get up. The wedding was at 8 o'clock in the morning at St. Margaret Mary, yeah, with Father Haggerty.
So do you think Grandpa changed much since then?
Change?
Yeah, in terms of maybe personality or even his
No.
looks?
He has the same personality.
Same thing.
Yeah. I was always looking for somebody that didn't drink, and I got him.
And
Although he was a smoker until the kids were, good age. They always used to bug him to quit.
And was he a romantic guy?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Of
Tell me about
course.
that.
No.
No, I'm not talking about that kind of romanticism, but would he bring home flowers? Or?
Not very often, no.
But how would he be romantic? Was he affectionate?
He's always been very nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
Always. We never had a violent argument or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say sweet words or give little kisses?
Of course. Don't make me laugh. You know they took my tooth off.
All right. Show me your next picture.
Let's see. Then the next one would be what we look when we were, I was 60 there, and Grandpa was 64.
Cut, edit in. And when was that picture taken? For what event?
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm 79, and I was taken when I was 60, 19 years ago.
Wow.
Wow, that went fast.
What event was that for?
That was for a class reunion,
What class reunion was it?
Narbonne.
Norman High School.
Uh-huh.
In what year? 40 year, 20 year?
I don't remember. I would have to look in my album.
So when you went to your class reunion, did a lot of your classmates change in terms of personalities or looks?
Well, I went to a lot of them. In this last one, when we went about 4 years ago, yes. A lot. We're all old now. Yes, we're all old. They act the same to us and all that, but they're all old.
What else do you got?
This is when we went to Hawaii, when we were, I don't know how old this is. It's Waikiki Beach.
Edit, cut in, and looks like it was 1992.
It is? Okay. And these are my children, but I don't know what year that is. Gloria could easily say more.
Tell me who's in that picture.
It's me and Ray, and the kids are in the back. Gloria and Albert and Patsy. We must have been living in, Carson. So, but Albert looks like he might have been single then. I don't know. Gloria probably knows more.
Edit, cut in.
Okay. And that's all I brought for this time.
All right. For today, I'm going to ask you one more question.
Mm-hmm.
What were your dreams as a child of what you would do later in life?
What were my dreams later in life? Nothing, just to have a good marriage, I guess.
When you
And to be able to have children. Although I never wanted them too close.
Now, when you thought about an ideal husband when you were a child, what did you think of?
You know, when you're young, like a teenager, anyway, at my times, I didn't, just that he didn't drink and be nice to me, that's all.
And how many children did you think you wanted as a young child? Or as a teenager?
I didn't think, as a teenager, I didn't think of that.
Good.
How many? I did not.
Okay, one last question for today.
We just wanted, we wanted a small family. We didn't want a big one.
You wanted a big one?
No, we didn't.
Oh, you just wanted a small family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because of supporting.
And what do you think was your greatest success in your life?
Success?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that I lived this long, right?
Yep.
And that we had a good marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and that all my kids turn out good kids, and my grandchildren so far very beautiful too.
Yes, yes.
No trouble
Mm-hmm.
of no kind. So I have to be thankful because there's a lot of families that don't have good kids.
Very good. And cut. And day 2.